Mario, you just watch it, falls kindly to him, swings at it. It's almost past the goalkeeper. The credit Walker Zimmerman. That's what he's in there for. To make it messy and make it ugly. Get on the end of things. And the big center back just sticks a toe in there. And New Zealand go down 2-0 to the delight of the US.
31 years of age, Walker Zimmerman, who believed his Olympic dream was over. But in what is effectively a youth tournament with those 3 overage players involved, 2 of them have scored goals here for the US in the first 12 and a half minutes. Just magnificent.
I think what you're going to start to see, because we've already seen it, is when you score, when you lead the game the way the U.S. is doing, it just it oozes confidence. It makes the good players want to play more football. They want to get on the ball and show how good they are. The U.S. has really talented players, really good footballers. We didn't see a lot of it in the France game because they have to defend so much. Now you're going to see the likes of Aronson and Busio and Tessmann getting on the ball, doing tricks, being confident with their passing, as we're seeing right now.
Following the example set by the US women a couple of days ago in Nice, when they beat Zambia to begin their campaign in the perfect manner. They scored 3 goals in the first 25 minutes. It's a scene for New Zealand. Won that by Busio. There's Mihajlovic. And Maguire giving chase. Full of running the US here. Wind in their sails. Fronted by Sermon. Mihajlovic. And now Tessmann with the dummy. Maybe a chance to shoot there for Tessmann, but that's came and went.
You can just see the confidence, as you rightfully mentioned. There's extra energy in your legs. There's a bit of sparkle in your boots. When you know you're up to 0, you have that cushion. So often it's human nature to just kind of sit back and rest on it. We're not really seeing that from the U.S. at the moment, and that's a good sign. You just look at Mihajlovic there, really high up, almost in the front line. That signals their intent to not sit back, to be able to press this New Zealand back 4 in midfield.
The other 2 teams in this group play later on today, Group A. France, who began the day top of the group, facing Guinea. It'll be Nice. France amongst the favourites for gold, led by the great Thierry Henry. Their last gold medal came in LA 40 years ago.
And now the question is going to be asked of New Zealand: how do they probe and get back into this game?
Kingdom moving forward here. There's the cutback. Few New Zealand players look towards the referee there, suggesting there may have been a foul, a potential penalty. Harriel was the US defender involved, the referee giving nothing.
And at first glance, you just think it's a good diagonal ball, and then help back across. And at first glance, you worry a little bit. And in fairness, I think the referee just gets this right, because there's a coming together, but it's much after the shot had already gone away. So bang play, it looks like a foul, but in the end, referee gets it right.
And Paredes. Good tempo back the game. Good ball in 2. Breaks the way at Tessmann. Shot blocked by Sermon. Paredes not closed down. Ball over the hit there to Busio. It's interesting, Tim, you know the New Zealand coach well, Darren Paisley. You've worked with him in the past. How will he react to this situation?
Affectionately known as Paz, as we like to call him. He's a player's coach. Players want to play for him. They want to fight for him. To be honest, New Zealand doesn't look at the races at the beginning of this game, but Paisley won't be phased. He's a very cool and calm manager. Never really goes overboard in terms of yelling and screaming. He's calculated, and we even saw that there, down 2-0. Looks like maybe his team should deserve a penalty, and he's not ranting them right. He's just very calm, that'll be infectious, and that'll be needed on a day like today, because they have to try and get back in this game, does New Zealand, and they're going to be able to chip away at it, but it's not going to come right away. And they're saying has to take responsibility in the middle of the midfield, get his team playing, get players forward.
Joe Bell, Sutton, the raw left back, New Zealand number 3, up against Paredes. Ariel clears away, ball to go out of play for a goal kick.
You mentioned there's Sutton Roy, fullback. He's going to need to get as high as possible to put pressure on that U.S. back line, and the next opportunity that I get where New Zealand's on the ball, I'll show you an example of how they get into a false fullback, and that's what Darren Beasley likes to have. That back four, as soon as they're in possession, fullbacks fly forward. One of the number 6s, and it could be Garbutt, goes into a fullback role, and it allows them to get players higher up.
So it's Mihajlovic. Breaks back to Matthew Garbutt. Came off Tolkien last, and I think he's done well there to prevent a corner being given away.
So the US there was sloppy, and I think that's one thing they just have to guard against. They're not in any sort of desperation mode, panic mode. They don't need to take or play high-risk football. Yes, play your football, but it doesn't need to be high-risk, because the last thing you want to do is gift New Zealand the goal, which New Zealand actually got a gift in the last game, and they took full advantage of it.
Team who reached the quarterfinals of the last Olympics in Tokyo, the furthest they've ever been before. They came here too with real hopes of going back home again with a medal. A small nation of just 5 million people. There is a cohesion in this New Zealand group. Darren Beasley, the coach, is also the head coach of the senior men's team. Youth international, born in Northampton in England. He now lives 10 minutes away from 8 different beaches in New Zealand. So I can tell you firsthand that's pretty different to Northampton.
It's not a bad lifestyle.
What a start this has been for the USA. The same venue when they're beaten by France on Wednesday. They scored 2 goals. Mihajlovic with the penalty, added to by Zimmerman, scoring for the first time for the Olympic group. He has scored 3 senior goals for the US men's national team before. That's over 40 times. His debut 7 years ago by Bruce Arena. Did play 4 matches in the last World Cup in Qatar.
See now, that's the false fullback there. You see Bell, the number 6, deep in the back line, allows the fullback, Bindon, to get forward, just here on the bottom of the screen.
Blackburn Davis for New Zealand. Now, there, Tyler Bindon. To Singh, number 10, who you mentioned can be a danger man for this New Zealand team. He was seen as a real star when he was a teenager. Shot from range there, and Schulte reacted to it well. And the header.
Yeah.
Really smart play there by Patrick Schulte to preserve his 2-goal lead.
Yeah, well, we're going to look at the replay. Something happened here. There's either a major, massive deflection, or the ball just completely knuckled. And sometimes you're at the mercy of the ball as a goalkeeper. That starts out going one way and it comes back. Let's just have a look here. It takes a deflection. It's a big, big deflection. I think off of Walker Zimmerman there. We'll get a great look at it here. Really well hit by Garbutt. Oh, credit to goalkeeper. He's already going nearly down to his left-hand side and just gets that big paw away. Up, reacts quickly, puts Bindon off. I have to say, Schultz. Really, really well done. And that's as good as a goal, because if that goes in, then New Zealand's on the front foot. As it stands, the U.S. can really breathe a sigh of relief. I think their goalkeeper there, Schultz, fantastic, and he knows, goes Carter, that's a really good opportunity. But U.S., we saw that in the France game, not closing down shots from the edge of the box. That is a must. That has to be a key component to defending for the U.S. the rest of this game.
Schultz from St. Charles in Missouri, a graduate of Francis Howell High School, who idolized, used him as a kid when he was growing up. There's some wonderful work there in goal, although there's a potential issue here for the US. Sean talking to his dad and receiving attention.
And I believe that was on the rebound. He was one of the bodies that got mixed up in there, trying to put Binden off as his goalkeeper Schultz was coming through. More than likely got clattered there.
Good to see Tolkien backs up again. And we had that wonderful chance. 1-0 down against France in the opening game when he hit the post. New Jersey, plays now for New York Red Bulls and MLS. And we'll see again that reaction, say, the agility, as you say, the bouncing up again to put off inside the bin.
Good defending, good goalkeeper. Now you can see what Walker Zimmerman there trying to do. Good center back, getting down the line of the ball, trying to get his blocks in, and just, unfortunately, it's a really big deflection, which makes it difficult for his goalkeeper, but all's well in the U.S. back line.
We see Tim Howard alongside BJ Spade. Tim who was number 2 to Brad Friedel. The US finished in 4th place in 2000. Actually been a history of overage goalkeepers in the past 3 Olympic squads. This is Guzan, Friedel, Keller, Schultz and Gargett studying the 2 goalkeepers who have named in this 18-man squad, and Schultz preferred that to start the game.
Good sign for the U.S. goalkeeping that they didn't need an overrated goalkeeper. They think that the youngsters can do the job, and Schultz has shown he can do that with the Columbus Crew. He's having a really good start to his young career.
Harrison, in behind the Binden, good cutback, Busio! What a good chance there to make it 3-0. Busio was completely unmarked. It's not the cleanest strike.
I actually thought, Joe, he could have taken a touch. It's easy for us to say, but when the game unfolds here, you see there's not really a lot of shirts around him. He had one runner wide to his right, so maybe touch it and play or touch it and hit. But you see there, didn't get really clean contact on it, but it goes down as another good opportunity. And the U.S. could use a spell. Naturally, at 2-0, you come off the boil a little bit, but if they can get back to that, again, possession, camping out in the New Zealand final third, they know they can do that. They've done it most of the first half. Just get back to that a little bit. It doesn't need to be the entire half, just a few spells.
Defended there by Kevin Paredes. Right hand side, 7 for the USA. US Soccer's Young Male Player of the Year last year. Here's Busio, who plays in the Italian game alongside Tesman for Venezia, based in Venice.
The US are just doing such a better job of closing down vertical passing lanes and getting in the way and blocking crosses and passes. You can see they've worked on that. New Zealand have a really difficult time playing between lines, and there's that man, Paredes, that you just mentioned.
Paul's play with Paredes down. Playing now at Wolfsburg in Germany. Breakthrough campaign there.
He's a little bit off the ball. You see him trying to run here. And it's Sutton stands his ground. Doesn't seem like there's much in it. You can see from the picture there. Goes down a little easily. But again, when you're 2-0 up, you're not really in a rush to get back to your feet, are you? And so, credit to the U.S. A little bit of gamesmanship there. Smart in the moment.
Lasting damage appears to have been done. Spent the past couple of years playing in Germany, Kevin Paredes. Said it was tough for the first 18 months. Cultural change, trying to learn a new language. Has been capped 3 times by the US senior team. Tessman. Atkinson going in. Tessman trying to win the ball back.
Good pressure, really good pressure from the U.S. You can see him run through tackles, defending 1 and 2 players. And Aaronson, this is his game, he loves it. He loves mixing it up, he loves chasing. Doesn't mind giving away a foul, putting his foot in, just to break up the play. And that's good. When you press, you want to run through tackles. You don't want to stop and give players space. And you know what? If you give away a foul, particularly in the other half, that's okay too.
Aronson's chance to shine on the big stage, as his brother has over the years. Paxton Aronson in this US squad. Brendan, who was in the Copa America squad this summer, that underwhelming campaign for the USA, and also went to the last World Cup in Qatar 2 years ago.
She's not quite happy with the result, as you can see. She'd like a goal here, for sure.
Shea Herdman was the player who will take his New Zealand corner. Shorty has done really well there. You hear the jam in his commanding, domineering goalkeeper.
It's a confident take. Early shot, that's when you know a goalkeeper really is having a good game. On the front foot, good starting spot. Early, confident, loud shout, and a calm claim. Really well from Schulte.
Comes to Olympic football, the US women have led the way so often. 4 times they've won gold. And then here on the attack, and here is Paredes, and now Busio, and Busio again. Yes! Since Sydney, 24 years ago, the US men scored 3 goals in the match, and still more than an hour to play.
Yeah, a brilliant run from Tolton. I actually thought this might have been a penalty there again. Look at Garbett going to ground in the box. Just have a look here. I think if they don't score this, this might get called back for a penalty there. But Busio, second time of asking, toe it. Toes it right in. There's no time for a big backlift. Just watch here. It's a good block, and when it comes back to him, just settles it, gets closed down, puts it in a dangerous area. I think that's a really good goal from Busio. And why not dance, celebrate, enjoy it? These are the moments that these youngsters live for. Heartbreak, of course, for Poulsen. Could do nothing more, gets his body in the way. It's a really, really tough start for New Zealand.
Come again. Mihajlovic to Busio. Now Maguire. Could have been 4, still might be. There's Tessman. Well, there are 2 sides to this story. Of course, the US have been terrific, but this New Zealand team are falling apart.
I mentioned they don't seem to be at the races here. I mean, these are just silly giveaways, but credit the US. Not sitting back, up 2-0, up 3-0. Continuing to press. They could have easily dropped back at the halfway line and pick up their line of confrontation there. But they decided, we're going for it, all out, we're going to be ourselves. And you and I talked to Marko Mitrovic. That's when he's been desperate to get across to his team. They must have an identity of who they are and not change for anybody. We're seeing that today.
In goes Tessman. And now Busio. There's Mihajlovic. They're hunting impact to the US now, and Maguire has it. Tolkien. Towards Mihajlovic, Tessman, well, appeal for a handball there, but it's going to be a corner. This really is one-way stuff. The US are firmly on top.
I mean, he nailed it, hunting in packs, just getting around the ball, first to everything. I mean, that's a sign. There's a part about playing good football, and there's a part about hunger and desire. And the U.S. are just first to every ball that's for asking and for sharing. Every 50-50 ball, they're the ones getting a piece of it. And there's no coincidence that every ball that falls in an advantageous position is falling to the feet of the U.S. player. They've really been on the front foot, and I tell you what, they've knocked this New Zealand team. They really have time to come quickly.
The US set piece, a nice smile there from John Tolkien. They're all loving life right now. Harriel's up there to attack it. Tessman. Back for Aronson. Just behind Tessman. And there's Harriel. Aronson. Over those towards the back post area. What they've done here, the USA, so importantly, is to wipe out the goal difference negativity they had for the first game. But they lost against France 3-0, but the goal difference is the first separating factor. The teams are level after 3 group games. So that's back to 0 again. New Zealand is now in negative territory. That could be 10.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you just watch here, Mihailovic starting to press. Instead of pressing with 1, they're pressing with 2, plus the wingers Aronson and Paredes. They're really making it difficult for New Zealand to play out. And in fairness to New Zealand, they're trying. They're trying to play out and not bypass that first line of confrontation, and they're not doing it with much success. And so the U.S. is going to continue to pile on that pressure until they think that New Zealand has solved the puzzle.
Marko Mitrovic, the coach there, and the US men watched the opening ceremony from afar last night, their own watch party, as their compatriots made their way along the River Seine. Wondering whether watching all that, they've also provided some inspiration, some motivation to this team. They began their campaign a few days before everybody else. They really are a part of the Olympic Games, the Olympic spirits. This is a worry for Busio.
It's a worry, and absolutely, watching opening ceremonies together, they've absolutely boosted their morale and realized we're a part of something big and a part of something special. And in terms of Busio going down there, you could just see he actually had an opportunity to maybe chase that ball down. It wasn't a terribly overhit ball. He just started to slow up and hobble and grimace when he came to a stop. That's not a good sign, as you mentioned, for the U.S.
That was Jack McLean, who you just saw on the US bench, potentially preparing himself to come on if Busio can't continue. Busio, who is the squad DJ, in charge of the tune pre-match. Busio, who scored the 3rd goal. On hand, right there, to provide the finish 2nd time around. He scored 7 goals in the campaign just gone, playing Italian football. Greensboro, North Carolina. He mentioned before the game his favourite US player from yesteryear, Jermaine Jones. He recalled his great goal against Portugal in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil when he was on the pitch Tuesday.
I just got goosebumps when you said it. Jermaine Jones, I remember that goal well. He's a good idol. If that's someone he looks up to, Jermaine is a special player. It looks like here it's coming off.
So a blow. That will be the 4th change. And Marko Mitrovic. A worry too, given the pretty intense, relentless schedule with the group games a match every 3 days. But one man's misfortune means a chance for somebody else. And Jack McLean of the Philadelphia Union is the man who comes on. Came off the bench for a quarter of an hour against France in the first game. On now for the bulk of this one. We wish Busio well with his recovery.
Well, as you mentioned, an opportunity. Busio's had a fantastic start to the tournament. But now McGlynn gets an opportunity to shine here, and it's a perfect scenario. Get in just before halftime. The team's up 3-0. You're going to see a lot of the ball. There's already an infectious energy about the side you just come into. Really good opportunity to make a difference.
Foul by Harriel. Zealand. Good backing for the US on the Côte d'Azur, the south coast of France, playground for the rich and famous. Great likes of Nice, Saint-Tropez, Monaco, all not far away. The free kick for New Zealand. So Michael Boxall. Jim Herdman who took that free kick, the son of John Herdman, current head coach of Toronto FC and MLS. Been involved in the Olympic game in the past too, with the Canadian women and the New Zealand women as well. So much drama with the New Zealand women's team even before the games began. The victims of the Spygate affair. And the Canadian women's camp in turmoil. Hits of the schedule, Tim, that the game's coming thick and fast. To say that it would be a doubt whether Gianluca Busio could be fit to play in that final game against Guinea on Tuesday, but hopefully the US will advance beyond that.
Yeah, and we'll have to wait and see what the diagnosis is, but we hope that with this result, I'm feeling like you're probably going to freshen things up anyway, having named two of the same starting 11s for Mitrovic. Maybe the rest is good, and by the time, if they can advance out of the group, he's well rested and fit and injury-free. So, again, hopefully best case scenario, but we'll have to wait and see. We keep mentioning, you can see the difference throwing deep in the half. In New Zealand's half against France, we saw the US just drop back. They were so worried about being caught out in the space and behind. And here, as I mentioned, Mihailovic in a 2 with Maguire, allowing those wingers to press and making it difficult. Yes, New Zealand can get out from time to time, but they're making it difficult and really having to work, even try and break lines like that. We just haven't seen it very often from New Zealand. Talked about Singh and how delightful a footballer is. His career has come off the boil a little bit. He does that in games sometimes. He disappears, even though he's a really, really good player. He needs to make more of the opportunities that he gets when he's on the ball. We know he likes a trick. We know he has some magic in his boots. But sometimes he can drive your team forward, be decisive. And even if it's not always pretty, he has the ability to do that.
Books at Bayern Munich for quite some time, 4 years, but played just 2 senior games for them, and a few loans away. He had without a club. He was playing in Germany's second tier last season.
There's just so much to like about Aronson. So willing to be running both directions. It's a real good skill set to have.
For these fans watching the men, certainly with more hope than expectation, success on the Olympic stage for the US men has been scarce. Aiming for their first medal in the modern era. The previous men's football medals game 120 years ago in St. Louis. Very different format. Back then they won silver and bronze when only 3 teams took part. They were club teams, 2 of which were American, 1 was Canadian.
I just think at the moment, what is or who is New Zealand? You know, is it the team that played so well against Guinea, or is it this team here that just seems to be outmatched, outpaced all over the park? And so they have a lot to do in the next 3 halves of football, because one, they're down 3-0 to the US here, and then they have to play one of their favorite, France, and we'll get a real good idea, particularly as the second half gets underway, what type of team and who New Zealand are.
Harrison was flagged offside. It just seems to be rattled New Zealand given the start the US made. We spoke to Marko Mitrovic before the games began while they were in the training camp away in Bordeaux. He wanted his team to play with passion, energy, intensity. We've seen that in abundance in this game. And the belief too. Stress that to us. These players must believe in themselves, and we've seen that today.
Yeah, and a manager can only give you so much belief. Some do it better than others, but ultimately you have to go out there, and there has to be that togetherness and that confidence within the group. And it's always about results. They're showing that there is a belief, and that's hard to do when you play France and you just feel like you weren't really at the races and you couldn't get going, and there's so much expectations in the Olympic Games. So credit to the 11 that started the game. You're doing really, really well.
Half-time not too far away. Singh. Something going on. Backlane Paredes. There's Tesman. And behind the pitch, his pocket was just picked by Joe Bell. Singh. Towards the QB number 9. Ben Blaney, who was barely featured as of yet. Paredes. Sent in by Binder. Played by Miles Robinson.
These are moments, you have to recognize moments in the game in the U.S. You got to understand they have to see this passage of play out, get themselves at halftime. They do not want to give away a goal in this moment.
Sent away there by Mihailovic.
Just see Mihailovic there. It's incredible. Naturally, the ball goes out. And it's a time to rest, and he wants his team to get up. And you see that back forward, just at the bottom of the circle there. That's the pressure that has been relentless and constant on this New Zealand team. Clearly, they were going for it.
So we go to the first half stoppage time, on which there are going to be 7 minutes. That's been a theme of this tournament so far. Lengthy periods of stoppage time. The VAR check, the injury to Busio, it all adds up.
It all adds up, and it feels like it's too much, but the way that they've been doing it in this tournament, not surprised, as you just mentioned. A couple injuries, VAR, 3 goals, so maybe 7 is accurate at this stage.
Stoppage time, 7 minutes.
Tough giveaway there. The goalkeeper Paulson, needless really.
Maguire. Tony. Number 7 does feel fair in this game. Number 15 that went up a couple of days ago in the Saint-Etienne between Argentina and Morocco, certainly not. Well, in the end, Morocco did hang on for that possible 2-1 win. Argentina did respond today with a success against Iraq in Lyon. They won that game by 3 goals to 1 for their first points of this tournament. That's the first yellow card of this game, shown to the US captain, Tanner Tesman.
And this is tricky for New Zealand because you saw the giveaway from the goalkeeper. There's the foul there, just a clip. But you saw the giveaway from the goalkeeper, Paulson, and New Zealand have to guard against every player trying to do too much to get back in the game, because you keep mentioning this goal difference, and it's so vitally important. Because guess what? If France win later, and I think they will, they might go into that last game thinking, we're already through. I'm going to, Thierry Henry may say, I'm going to rest guys. And so New Zealand might not get France's best punch. So they have to make sure, having won the first game, now they're losing 3-0. This can't go 4 and 5 and 6 for New Zealand. They've got to find a way, to, in a clever, smart way, get a goal back, maybe 2, but they cannot concede another.
Lucio there on that US bench, somewhat deflated having to be taken off, but goal scorer in his first half for the USA. With Mihajlovic and Zimmerman. Pursues. That pass just in that finding Paulson. So but being pressurised again. Singh. Zimmerman. Well played there, no tight area by the US, and they win themselves a free kick.
The U.S. really can be definitive at this point of the game. Stretch it, keep the lines wide, not there in those turnover moments.
He's given away softly. Mihajlovic back covering, and importantly so, overplaying there, almost gave the Kiwis a way back in. And there's McLean. She got the pass away there, and maybe a bit aggrieved that no advantage was played.
And again, there's been 2 moments where they've overplayed. Great strength there from McGlynn. Just rode the tackle, happy enough to continue to play on. The referee sees it as a foul, stops the game. But yes, again, the U.S. and that complacency, it's easy to creep in when you're just knocking the ball around. They don't want to give New Zealand any sort of hope, but still continue the same. Be expansive, spread front to back, spread from touchline to touchline, ask questions. This New Zealand squad, make them have to chase and open themselves up even more.
Harrison.
You can see there's a comfort and ease in which the U.S. is taking the ball. Catch, play. It's coming naturally and much more easily than it did in that first game against France, where you can see there was nerves. They were tight. They were clearly emotional with the stage that they were on, and they were clear underdogs. Where they're going into this game, and I can tell you as a former U.S. player, there's so very few times where you go into a game where you're supposed to win, where you're not the underdog, and it's a mindset shift. You're just so naturally used to and accustomed to being the underdog, and there's a difference. Because when you're supposed to win the game, you're supposed to take the ball, you're supposed to make the game exciting. And that's not always easy to do, to flip that switch, and the U.S. has done it really well today.
3 goals and chances for more as well.
You look where a lot of competition is. The U.S. have 6 players against New Zealand back 6, and New Zealand's just finding it really hard to get out. You can't break lines, you can't play vertically. They're continuing to play side to side into the feet of that false fullback, but not really gaining any territorial advantage.
Being constructed there with no reward. Actually, a former US youth international. Played under Marko Mitrovic for the under 19s. Switch allegiance last year.
The US will take that nice little pass in and around the box, and if they're long diagonals, those won't beat them. They have numbers to flood those wide areas.
Oh, that sound means that's the end of the first half.